Sounds of Decay 2. This is Blood Feast with Infinite Evolution. Back in the 80s, when one had to take a chance and buy an underground album without even being able to preview a note, a lot of split decisions were made by what label they were on. New Renaissance had a reputation of having some sketchier sounding bands.
Yeah. New Renaissance was formed by the band Hellion. They had so much trouble getting signed that they started up their own label. And funny enough, I think the label ended up doing better than the band. They had great distribution. And in the early 80s, when we were like obsessed with thrash metal, we would literally be able to buy 3 New Renaissance used records for the price of one regular one. So we ended up, and they always had such great artwork. But the thing is, they were always like kind of a sub-tier metal blade. A lot of it like, wow, this singer's trying way too hard, or that guitar sounds like a dishwasher. Like some of the bands, they had bands like Necrophagia, Indestroy. Anyway, but Blood Feast clearly was the biggest signing because for every like 4 or 5 albums, they were kept reissuing Blood Feast albums. Anyway, it's not to interrupt you.
So, long story short, they certainly upped their street cred by having such a talented, brutal thrash band on their roster.
Yeah. Now on the formidable label Napalm, I couldn't think of a better title than Infinite Evolution for the 4th full length from this ever morphing but always hard rocking 4-piece out of New Jersey. Since reforming and putting out their comeback album, The Future State of Wicked, in 2017, they have fit the definition of evolution, the gradual development of something, especially from a simple to a more complex form. Mainstay Adam Tranquilli has taken over on vocals while still blasting away riff after riff on his guitar. These 9 new tracks vary in length from a little over 1-minute instrumental intro, most falling within the 3 to 5 minute range, with the exception of the epic Eye of Glass, which has a runtime just shy of 8 minutes. All are packed with exceptional guitar gymnastics.
The instrumental opener, Crafting Carnage, starts out sounding like an orchestra warming up, fading into doomy paced riffs that become fuzzy noodles over slow drum smack and rolls. I was wondering at first, is the thrash back? I sure did not have to wait long for a Roger on that front. Ravaging the Loins of Mary immediately sends all needles into the red as the drums of Adam Kiefer take flight in a frantic pace, while the riffs of Tranquilli and C.J. Segotia are overflowing with bright melodic scales. Tranquilli vocals are a husky yell that is not as wild as the over-the-top shrieking of his predecessor. He uses the inflection at the end of the lines as kind of a punctuation. Honestly, I lost count of how many blistering, vibrato-filled guitar solos there were in this all-you-can-eat riff fest. They even add in harmonies with a fuzzed effect that is dazzling.
Tranquilli switches up vocal styles a bit, and his cadence drips with an evil maniacal vibe for The Preacher. After Kiefer's pounding kicks the track off, they knew the preacher was evil. He wasn't a man. He had the fire in his eyes and a heart that was as dark as a well. I will not have my town kicking off their Sunday shoes. Jeez Louise. There are tempo shifts that bring more drama as Scotia fingers fly, pulling riffs out of thin air. Tranquilli growls and snarls, a pit-inducing, oh! Honestly, the album just gets better and better as it goes on. Outbreak is another burner, with the beefy bass line of recent addition Dave Kramer that bounces like a beach ball, doing a call-in response in the chorus with the vocals.
Another standout is the aforementioned Eye of Glass that charms with the bagpipe-ish guitar harmonies and vocals that are run through an effects machine for a super trippy effect. The drums pound out faster and bordering on out of control like a runaway minecart, but it holds the rails and throws the brake for a few seconds in a punchy rollout. Gang vocals create a rollicking feel like a band of pirates. Add in an oscillating solo that wails like a monkey in the zoo at feeding time. The solos continue to erupt, rising in dreamy tones that settle into rocky chugs. The initial trippy intro is reprised at the end. My favorite track is Evolution, with chime-like riffs over those pulsating drums. When the more intricate harmonies take center stage, you may find your mouth hanging agape. And of course, you guessed it, a rollicking solo.
The album was actually completed in 2022, But this time, I guess the band was hoping for great timing for once and held it back until now. They really do a great job holding on to that old school ferocity while dashing in more contemporary stylings. Fans of bands like Trauma and fellow New Jersey thrashers Attacker will also enjoy this in-your-face guitar-heavy album. I can only guess the infinite part of the album title must refer to the incalculable number of riffs included here. So join the Blood Feast Legion. No need to check out labels. This song is called Ravaging the Loins of Mary.
Mother of the apocalypse, mother of disdain, mother through the centuries, must like campaign, bearer of the righteous one, savior of...
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.